I'm back, and today the video is about groups I think haven't reached their full potential due to their companies basically sabotaging them. And I'm not going to lie, some of these groups aren't doing horribly, but I genuinely believe that if their companies were to change even the slightest thing about the way they're managed, the popularity of said group would skyrocket. However, I'm not any type of professional and don't claim to be. It's just an opinion. You can disagree in the comments and leave the groups you'd think do better in the comments as well. Without further ado, let's begin. You can't Wakeone has shown from day one that they never cared about Kepler, and I'm tired of people refusing to acknowledge this. Firstly, let's address the fact that the lineup pissed people off but was never the reason they didn't achieve more than they did. The majority of the members maintained a position in the top 9 for a good portion of Girls' Planet, and I'm pretty sure all of them were popular contestants. Many viewers of the show even acknowledged that Bahia would most likely be a member, but just didn't expect her to place second, which even her fans didn't expect. Kepler probably had one of the most anticipated debuts in the 4th gen, and despite the criticism, Wadada did well for a debut. It would have done better if Wakeone had utilized the popularity of Bahia. I'm not going to sit here and act as if she isn't present in any of their songs, but we need to acknowledge that her popularity would have boosted the group further had Wakeone monopolized on it. She placed first in 115 countries and was barely shown in the debut music video, which only caused her fans to turn their backs on the group. Bahia didn't need the most lines, but she should have been shown more in the music video and definitely should have received more solo schedules. They should have treated her like the face of the group, but they refused to, which brings me to the fact that apparently Wakeone has turned brand deals down for both Bahia and Jouting. This isn't confirmed, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Moving on to the fact that Wakeone killed their momentum by having them participate on Queendom 2. Despite the fact that I believe all 9 members are talented and deserving of their position in the group, any group that is barely 3 months old would never stand a chance against literal K-pop veterans. Going up against idols like Hyolyn, Luna, half of G-Friend, and Brave Girls made them feel lacking and destroyed their confidence. They should have been focusing on what kind of sound they wanted to maintain for their future, showing up on variety shows, doing dorm content, literally anything else but Queendom 2. Kepler were not promoted properly and rarely ever went on variety shows. The only content we got was their own variety show with mid-editing and no budget, which failed to get the attention of anyone other than their loyal fan base. This is getting too long, but literally everything is Wakeone's fault and I'll be their biggest hater for the rest of my life. Cube literally had a gold mine in their hands. All they had to do was put in the effort. The first thing I want to talk about is how Yoonbin's addition to the group was a mess. When Yoonbin was announced to be joining the group, she was still participating on Produce 101. Before this announcement, Yoonbin was a popular contestant, consistently placing in the top 20. After this, she dropped significantly and ended up being eliminated before the final episode. And when she officially joined the group, she still had an active contract with CJENM that prevented her from promoting with the others. She wasn't even allowed to be in the music video. Cube had to release the one with her in it after the contract ended. And it's no secret that CLC weren't the biggest before, but Hobgoblin's release helped them be seen more by international fans, but this apparently wasn't taken well by the Korean public. Releasing Where Are You was an attempt to save their Korean fan base, but ruined their momentum internationally. Luckily they released Black Dress after, and I would say this was the song that actually helped them break through. Which brings me to the fact that after Black Dress, CLC were going to have another comeback in 2018. La Vie en Rose. And if you're new, yes, IZ*ONE's debut was originally going to be CLC's. They planned to release it around July or August, and had even began to post teaser pictures with roses. They had recorded it and everything, but because Cube didn't get the rights to the song before the producer left the company, said producer sold it to IZ*ONE's company. And then when they got their first win with No, Cube still didn't try to maintain the attention they received. The next 3 releases they had were digital singles that were barely promoted. Yoon gained attention for Barbie. Cube didn't push her. They pulled Yoonbin from a drama with the excuse that there was conflicting schedules, but CLC had no schedules. They just flat out lied. They were never given a light stick, despite fans' begs for one. They completely ignored the members when they begged to promote overseas, even when they offered to pay for it with their own money. And then we also have the fact that Elkie filed a lawsuit against Cube for violating their contract numerous times, one being that they didn't pay her for some of her schedules. I know I'm missing something, but I'd like to move on. Let's get it, you are my siesta, baby diva. I'll be honest, I haven't been that active of a fan to know if there are any behind-the-scenes mismanagement that's causing more harm to the group. However, I am aware that issues within the company stunted the momentum they had after debut. Throughout their career, Fantagio's issues were consistent, with management changes that happened way too often. It's also been a little over 2 years since their last comeback, and I'm honestly nervous that the next big announcement I'll get is a disbandment. I truly with my whole heart believe that had they debuted under a different company, they would have been more successful than what they are. I'll be honest, I don't believe that Pledis is completely responsible for their failure. The group had internal conflicts with each other, like the members borderline hated each other issues. There was bullying, underage drinking and smoking, and just a lot of things that allegedly went on behind the scenes that just was out of Pledis's control. However, I just genuinely don't like the company and do think that their management of the group and choices they made contributed to their failure. Pledis was overall very complacent in any type of criticism the group received. They did almost nothing to protect them. A good example of this was Kyla. She was fat-shamed so much to the point where she was blamed for their disbandment. And Pledis never did anything, just kind of tried to sweep it under the rug and hoped it disappeared. It just seemed like when they didn't live up to IOI's success, they just kind of lost all hope for the group and didn't really see the point in continuing to promote them. Pristin V was probably their attempt to orange caramel Pristin, but Pristin V's album surprisingly sold the least out of all three in Pristin's career. I believe this to be the icing on the cake. Pristin received absolutely zero promotions afterwards, literally up to the day they disbanded. And apparently the members received a lot of offers for solo schedules, like dramas and cameos that Pledis rejected. The members didn't get to celebrate their first anniversary on V Live either. And there was also an incident in 2018 where fans actually protested for the group to make a comeback. They stuck sticky notes on the building, but they were quickly removed the same day, with the company just simply not acknowledging it. You can say that the members' scandals completely tarnished their reputation, but Pledis doing absolutely nothing to try to save the members from unwarranted hate nor trying to salvage their reputation really isn't excusable. If the company had stepped in, a lot of the rumors would have been cleared up, but they didn't. And I hate to say this because I love the group, but if half of the members couldn't get their act together, they should have been the ones to go. The ones that were facing the consequences when they did nothing wrong should have been saved. But Pledis didn't care about the group, so they just didn't care to fix what was wrong. From my understanding, though Pledis has been involved with the group since day one, they weren't always responsible for managing them. Regardless of this, they've been under Pledis's management since August of 2021 and have had two comebacks within then and now. With the song they did for Operation True Love going viral, I figured they'd take this as a chance to push the group, or use it as momentum for a comeback, but I admittedly put too much hope into Pledis. And yes, I am painfully aware that the reason they didn't do well is because Idol School was rigged. There's also the fact that they were completely overshadowed by IZ*ONE, which is by no means their fault. CJENM just shouldn't have created a group to put them in the back of their minds. They definitely don't have the worst case of mismanagement, and they do have a loyal fanbase. But lack of music and being treated like the unwanted child just kinda stunted them. Well, that's all I'm willing to do in one video. There's definitely more groups I'd like to talk about, so I may do a part 2. I was also going to mention Blackpink, but I don't think their fans nor anyone else would agree with me. But just know I believe YG stunted them. Anyways, that's all. Have a good day.